Jeffrey Lord joins us here. It is, of course, May 15th, by the way, and Jeffrey, a former member of the Reagan administration, author of Swamp Wars, Fox News contributor. He is a columnist around the country, writes for various publications, and he's with us here this morning. It sounds like you should be breathlessly panting because you're working all the time, Jeffrey. How are you?
I am working all the time, I have to say, but I guess in the circumstances, that's a good thing.
Well, yeah, work is a good thing. I had a debate with somebody earlier in the week, and it was really kind of fascinating. And this person, I was actually with a group of people, and this person called Governor Wolf Tommy the Commie. All right, and I raised my hand and I said, I don't think that's where I want to be. I said, I don't call people names. I give them the proper name and their proper title, if it's president or a senator or, member of the House, whatever. And he said, well, you're just like a Bush Republican then. You're not a Trump Republican. I said, I'm not any of those things. I said, I'm just me. I said, I'm more of a guy from the standpoint of, I don't get hung up on the name calling because I think it takes the spotlight off of talking about the act or the policy or whatever. And he said, well, I just think I have to do that. I said, I don't. And that's one of the things that we're getting into here. And again, Swamp Wars covers some of that, I think, where, you have people that say, hey, we really dislike each other. I don't really dislike Governor Wolf or anybody, but I really can disagree pretty vehemently and every bit as passionate. This guy said, I'm willing to die for this country. I said, so am I. But I don't have to call names of people to do that. What's your take on that kind of argument? Because I dare say it's going on all over the country right now, Jeffrey.
Yeah, I certainly don't have any personal, and I've never met the governor, so, who am I to say? I do think, though, that, and I will use the word advisedly, I do think he's bullying people to some extent. Mm-hmm. And, I live in East Pennsboro Township on the West Shore of Cumberland County. And a gentleman I do not know, and I've now written about him, Brad Shepler, I think his name is a barber in East Pennsboro, in Enola. And he has his one-man shop on like in the basement level of his home.
Sure.
And he's married. He lives with his wife and two girls. Well, he's got to earn a living. So he went back to work. He reopened his shop. The next thing you know, he gets a visit from the police, which he had the presence of mind to record. And they were doing their job, very polite and all that kind of thing. But then this is followed up by a letter from the deputy counsel for in the Pennsylvania Secretary of State's office, which basically threatens him and says, you're going to be fined $10,000 a day. You're going to lose your license and all of this because the guy says, I have to go back to work, at this stage. Now, that's wrong. I mean, I don't care how you slice it. That's an abuse of governmental power in my mind here.
But that's critiquing the action, not critiquing that's critiquing the action, though, in a very responsible way, in a very passionate way, and not the person. We got the same situation happening here in York County. You may have read about Round the Clock Diner, opened up 2 locations here in York County, and the Department of Agricultural Press Secretary Shannon Powers confirmed Thursday that I guess they opened up last Sunday. They sent a couple police out there to talk to the management about it and warn them. On Thursday, the state made good on those warnings. And then the Department of Agriculture Press Secretary Shannon Powers confirmed that round-the-clock locations in Manchester and Spring and Sperry Townships were issued official warnings. Now, the next step is they come in, and food and safety inspectors, unannounced, will come in, and they can then shut you down. They can take away your certificate of occupancy.
Wow. I mean, this...
Allegedly,
this, to my mind, is bullying. This is an abuse of power. Absolutely. And just remember, go back a few weeks, a month or whenever it was, and President Trump, first he was being asked of him why he wasn't exerting authority over the whole country here and letting governors do their thing instead. And then when he said about a week later, well, I have the authority, well, then they went after him for being a dictator. Well, I mean, he's nothing compared to what Governor Wolf is doing here. I mean, this is just crazy. I understand there's a delicate balance here. When I go to the grocery store, I wear a mask. I mean, all of that kind of thing.
Right.
But people have to get back to work, and if we reach the point where the cure is worse than the disease, people that you don't have to go eat in a restaurant. You don't have to get your hair cut. If you choose to do it, you should be free in a free country to do it.
By the way, that business also that I mentioned, Round the Clock, will face a $10,000 a day fine as well. And
Wow.
you wonder, in a very weird sense, and I don't mean to portray this with civil rights necessarily, although they are civil rights of
Yes,
people.
they are.
Do these people, like the barber you're talking about, or the Round the Clock diner, do they start to become kind of the, and I use this very carefully, the Rosa Parks of this kind of situation, who would not get up off a seat because she was black and moved to the back of the bus? Well, in this case, you're saying, okay, I've got to operate a business to make money. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to make it. Is there any parallel there, or am I way off base?
You're not way off base. And the thing to remember about Rosa Parks and other civil rights protesters in the day when I was a kid is that they got public support for what they did. There was plenty of opposition, don't get me wrong about that, segregationists and all that kind of thing.
Yes.
But the whole civil rights movement had strong support by, millions of Americans. Mm-hmm. Rosa Parks was very quickly thought well of because she protested, because she stood up by sitting down, as it were. And that is exactly what's happening here. This barber, whom I didn't even know existed, is suddenly in the papers here. He's on Facebook. He had state legislators show up yesterday for a press conference to support him. Mm-hmm. He is becoming, and I have a column this morning describing him as an American hero. This is when you are willing to put yourself out there and stand up for your beliefs. In a situation like this, you are exactly doing what Rosa Parks and so many other people did.
When you say that a law or a directive or an executive action has gone further than it should or is absolutely wrong, as was in the case of Rosa Parks, definitely wrong as far as human beings, and you say enough is enough, and people are rising up, and it's going to be interesting to see now if the governor is willing to go ahead and put a $10,000 a day fine on these people, or close them down, or take away their certificate of occupancy, or whatever it might be, or pull the liquor license on places where they're doing those kind of things, all of which have been threatened during the course of this week, and apparently moving ahead with that now and willing to face the fight. So it's going to be a showdown of sorts. We've got a planned rally again at the Capitol today by the Operation Open PA. So we're going to keep an eye on that as well. Jeffrey, always good talking to you, my friend. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, Gary. Thanks a lot.
Be safe. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next week. Take care.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Jeffrey Lord with us here on WSBA Morning News with Gary Sutton.